Wade is guarding Bryant. Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
Good morning, Syndicate members. What is happening? Man, it's live from Austin, Texas. You know it's Winning on Wednesday today. Now we're here
Let's go.
every Wednesday, 9 a.m. But today's a special day because today is our 1-year anniversary show. That's right. Come on.
1 year, man. Isn't it crazy though? I was thinking about it yesterday where it was like, damn, we have literally done y'all. And so we have not missed a single Wednesday.
Not one.
Since January 11th of 2022, which is pretty freaking crazy, man.
We haven't always both been here.
Correct.
But one of us has always been here. Guaranteed.
Yep. And that's, man, it's been an honor, Mr. Merwin. And I love seeing, I'm sure anybody that's, hey, if you watched the first ever episode, if you guys remember, it was with David Williams, right? Comment below, right? Or even when Carruthers said I looked like I was in a 7-Eleven at 3 a.m. We
kind of looks that way.
We've changed a lot of things though with the shows, and obviously the YouTube channel's blowing up, and that's kind of my weekly win, is the YouTube channel. So just from the past 28 days, we've quadrupled in subscriptions and views, and we've also, it's quadrupled pretty much in every single category. So that's been really cool to see. Almost 100 hours of watch time there in the past 28 days. So again, thank you to everybody that stuck with us. Again, 1 year freaking of doing Winning on Wednesday. And I can't wait till we hit all of our 1 year anniversaries of all the other shows, and just kind of see again where all this goes, and where it leads to. So that's definitely my weekly win is the 1 year show, the YouTube, just how far we've come with the shows. It's been awesome to see. So I don't know if that's maybe your win too, or honestly, Tony's been hanging out in our new office all week, y'all. So I know that's got to be kind of part of your win too.
It is, man. It's really nice here. I like it. It's comfortable. Currently, I'm mostly by myself. I mean, it's a big empty office that we're reconstructing. You may see some contractors run around behind me, and I'm just hanging out up in the reception area, just kind of holding it down and plugging in here to stay out of their way. They're all back in the bullpen doing the construction. So, I mean, it's hard to, with everything that's going on, it's kind of hard to pick like one weekly win. Like, I could say it's The Office. I think we've already mentioned that. I would definitely piggyback on the fact that, this is the year anniversary. And I was at my morning workout this morning, and I was listening to my Spotify playlist that's aptly named Warrior. If anybody needs a good workout playlist, like hit me up. I'll share it with you on Spotify. It's called Warrior, but it rocks out. And I was listening to this one little clip. I can't remember who the guy was that does these little motivational clips that I threw in there, but he said, I didn't come this far only to come this far. I didn't come this far to only have gone this far. I didn't come this far to only go this far. And then he repeats it again. I didn't come this far to just come this far. So I was thinking about that as I was working out this morning, everything that we have going on, the new office, some of the new collaboration and partnerships that we're doing, the year anniversary show. And I was thinking, you know what? That dude is damn right. I didn't come this far just to come this far. Right. So we got a lot more in store in the Syndicate and in these videos and everything that we're doing. Get excited. We've already alluded to some of it in our last little show that we kind of gave you a little State of the Union. But that's where I'm at, brother. I'm charged and ready to keep 2023 rolling.
Another phrase I've been kind of honing in on, I guess you could say, is if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, do it with others, right? And kind of, I think really our guest that we're bringing on here, literally it is their entire MO is about really just helping each other and giving back to each other, and really kind of that servant kind of mindset, but also within the team, right? To where they've been able, y'all, what these people are doing, and especially because they just started it in 2018, and it's amazing to see. And honestly, Kevin is somebody who I've recently been able to meet, and he's actually been here to Austin. We got to spend some time together. We're doing some business together on the property and casualty side. But Kevin is really just somebody that I look up to and how he runs his organization. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Mr. Kevin Brown. And hey, you better bring the heat,
What's
dude,
up,
because
man?
it's the 1 year anniversary, baby. Let's go.
All right, let's go, man. Let's go, man. Hey, man, we just got off a conference call. We call this our Wealth Building Wednesday. So, hey, man. Yeah, man. So, yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm lit. Dude, let's go.
Come on.
Let's bring it.
Let's go.
Well, we're going to leave the tank empty.
Leave the tank empty. Come on.
Yeah, man. Yeah. If you don't see it in the background, man, yeah. Greatness demands everything. So make sure you're leaving it on the field, man. Leave it right here. We're gonna unload some stuff today, man. Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Excited.
Well, man, thank you for joining us today. It's certainly a pleasure having you. I had the chance to meet you earlier this year, or last year, I guess now, but it wasn't too long ago that you come down to Austin and hung out with us a bit. It was certainly a pleasure. We got to go out to dinner and do some things, but we know a little bit about you, but take a moment and just kind of tell our audience like who Kevin Brown is, what you're up to, and kind of what you're doing, a little bit about where you've been or where you're going.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm a big nerd, man. I'm a geek. Yeah. So I wasn't as attractive to the ladies until I started making a little bit of money. But so hey, man, I was an economics major, finance major. Attended. I was a linebacker at Presbyterian College. And I transferred as a finance major with Baltimore School of Business at University of South Carolina. Go Gamecocks! And hey, man, we're in the SEC. SEC wins championships. Y'all know that. So
come on.
No jab against TCU or anything, man. But hey, man, the proof is in the pudding. Yeah, the proof is in the pudding, man.
Fair enough.
So yeah, man. But no, I was with Wachovia Bank. While I was in college, had a co-op with them, worked a couple hours. They would reimburse my tuition. Naturally started working for them full time when I graduated, became really good at what I was doing, and started helping others to basically duplicate what I was doing with Wachovia Securities and the banking side and being a sales leader, all that stuff. I thought I'd be there forever. I really did. 2008 happened. In 2008 happened, man. Mortgage crisis, man. If you're not old enough for that, I pray that doesn't happen to you. But man, mortgage crisis happened. Lots of things changed, man. So yeah, I had to make a change. So naturally, being in leadership, being in business development, I got into the development space. I work with a nonprofit, a national nonprofit called Community Development Improvement Corp. I started working directly with USDA Rural Development, their business development side. So I was working hand in hand with businesses. $1 million, $10 million. We had stimulus money that year. Since I was the geek, they gave me $63 million that I was responsible for to help people build their businesses and stuff.
Damn.
You would have thought that was easy to spend, but actually, there are some people that just can't get things checked off a list to get money. So, and I know y'all have tons of agents. So some things you're trying to tell, hey, if you do this and do this and do this, you'll yield this result. It's the same way. It doesn't matter how much money you're talking about. So we all have to keep growing and all have to be receptive to being better and following suit when the time comes, man. And naturally, after that progression, man, I got a call from Chik-fil-A. Chik-fil-A was awesome, dude. But let me tell you, man, Chik-fil-A was a little humbling moment, man. Dude, I'm up here. I'm the finance guy. I'm the prestige. I help businesses, all this other stuff. Guess what they said? They said, go get a yellow apron here, and you're getting ready to unload the truck with some chicken here. After that, you're gonna change that apron, and you're gonna bread this chicken, and you're gonna help the staff. Like, you can't help other people build their business until you understand their business, man. So I had to do that, man. And dude, man, when I tell you. That was a big ego check, but it was also the biggest growing moment, man. And dude, I tell you that some of those principles I've learned from Chick-fil-A. I went on a 7-year streak with Chick-fil-A, and man, I learned some stuff, man. I apply it to my business today. Yes. Right. So yeah, man. So came home. I had a newborn son, man, and after about 6-7 months. this guy, I come home some weekends and this guy start crying. Like, who are you, dude? Like, my wife's like, hey, man, we might need to, this may be that time where we need to get closer to home. So I was like, you know what? Bump it. Let's do it. But I'm going to find something that I like. So I was going to buy an Allstate, man. Allstate said, hey, we need $900,000 to buy this $3 million book. I was like, hey, babe, your retirement, my retirement, they'll offer some business loans and all that good stuff. Got it. Checked off the list. You know, me, I'm naturally, okay, if you give me a list, I'm going to knock it out because I've been dealing my whole life with people that don't check off the stuff on the list. So, hey, man, so that was the easy part. Okay, cool. We got to get a license. Cool. My wife is licensed. I'm licensed. No problem. Let's go. So we get down. We've moved to South Carolina, man. We're closer to home. My parents are an hour and a half away. Her parents are an hour and 15 away, different directions. So they can't just pop up on us. So we're right, you know, yeah. So we had this thing all planned out. Then the deal falls apart, man. In the deal, they wanted to include their real estate that they own, and we needed to rent from them because they wanted to carry on the legacy. And I'm like, I'm buying your book. I'm not buying your building, bro. So that deal fell apart. We had already moved. My wife's quit her job. She was in corporate America with Dollar Tree's corporate office in Chesapeake, Virginia. We got to find some work to do. So I put on the hustle, man. I started doing some consulting, all that good stuff. And then now I've got this license. I got to put it to work. Everybody and their mom, hey, we noticed that you've been licensed in our state. There's this opportunity. So I finally respond to one of these jokers. And I get into final expense, man. We get some things cranking off of that. I also was doing some higher end whole life stuff because I had some people that knew me from back in the past from the securities days. So I had some stuff. Well, guess what? Those clients actually got me fired from my first captive role because I wasn't supposed to have other carriers. I didn't know that. Yeah. So I got fired, dude. I got fired and my team got fired. What? And I didn't mention the team before. By the way, you come in at this 50% commission, but you need to recruit so you can be successful if you're going to make six figures. I'm like, okay, that's what I do. I recruited 49 people, man. So yeah, I did what they told me to do. Check off the list. I am that guy. You know, you give me a list, I check it off. So yeah, but we all got fired. In 3 days, guess what? We want to rehire you, but we can't give you your renewals. We're gonna forgive you. Like, okay. I was already. It appeared I was born yesterday because I fell for this deal. So, but now, okay, I'm not going for it twice. So I am a, don't get bit by the dog twice type person. So. So we go independent, man, and we start tapping into the worlds of the Mutual of Omaha's to all the big main carriers that we love today, and A-rated. I mean, I come to find out the company I was with wasn't even rated. Like, whoa, but that's a whole other story, man. We're not here for that. But yeah, man. So within 6 months, we've done $2 million in production and final expense, going independent. It was a whole new world, higher commissions. Are we? And we were paying the same amount for leads. That's what was still crazy. That was still is boggling. But yeah, so we're doing that, man. And dude, it's like I don't know if it was a God thing or what, man. It seemed like every venture I had got tested. Here comes COVID. A year and a half later, man. And I'm checking on my crew. How you doing? Hey man, we're good, man. We're holding, our renewals are good, because companies you picked are A-rated and we got some decent renewals. But man, thanks for getting us involved in that Medicare thing you had going. I was like, well, I really didn't understand that, but the numbers made sense. But okay, well, why is that so important? Like, these are decent renewals. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I had nothing but time on my hands. I was getting fat, drinking bourbon, and doing barbecue at the house. We were shut down. We couldn't go anywhere. So I'm looking at commissions. Like, okay, this life stuff is paying me a couple per app. That's good. This other Medicare stuff is paying close to $20 an app, and these people don't pay premiums.
That was, hey,
Hold up,
I tell you,
hold up.
that was me
Yeah.
too with Medicare. I'm like, wait, so you're telling me you get this and they don't have to pay anything?
And
It's
they
a
don't have
zero
to
premium.
pay? Bruh.
Yeah, that's
Stop.
everybody's reaction when they first get into the Medicare space. Like, what do you mean some of these plans are $0, but I get paid, several $100?
Bro.
Like, how does that math out?
Right.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm doing the math. I'm like, okay, what's 20 times 12 and 240? Hold up. That annual enrollment period that we worked, that we got paid 240 for that. And then I go to my upline at the time. He's like, yeah, that's what it is. I was like, do you not realize that's 100% renewal? Like my life insurance is a percentage of what they pay every month for my
Right.
renewals. That's 100% renewal. It's just divided by 12. He's like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you that. I was like, that can't be. Like,
Oh,
where's
no,
the
it be.
10%? Yeah, what's up with that? So
What's the
like,
catch?
yeah. So man, after the shutdown, I'm grabbing my folks, man. I got a couple leaders. I got a crew, man. We are. I don't know if y'all know the term, but gang. Like we have made money together, and I love making people money. Like if you work with
Come
me,
on.
I love making sure that you are prospering, man. That you are wealthy, and that
Love
you
it.
get to your wealthy place. I will love on your kids. I will love on your spouse. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's female or male. I will still hug you and love you. So, but yeah, man. So I'm gonna love on you, man, and I take it personal after I get to know you, and and y'all know me, man. Y'all, yeah, we spend time together. That's me.
Right.
That doesn't change. So, man, we got together. Hey, man, we need to have some more stuff going on over here, man. And dude, the last 4 years have just been last three, honestly. I mean, we our first one that we took seriously, we did like 600 apps. Second one, right up under 3,900, 37, something like that. This last year, man,
Come on, throw it
what
out there. You knew. Hey, I didn't. I was gonna ask you, and I don't even have to ask you. You led yourself right to it.
I did.
It's still OEP too, right? So I mean, you
Yeah, it's
still
still
are doing.
OEP. Yeah. Well, for
What?
2022, we did 9,000, bro. And yeah, man. And that's net, man, because I don't count all that other stuff, man.
Come
So
on, net.
that's net. Yeah, that's net. I know agents. I got a whole lot of them. I know the game, but I only count net, man. I only count
I
net.
love it.
So yeah, and
Well, so
I'll leave
let's
that there.
let's
Yeah.
let's go to, so obviously, so Wealth Alliance. I mean, you guys are doing some amazing things, and I think
Yeah.
where I really want to spend some time is, um, when it comes to the culture and everything that you've done to be able to build that team, to be able to get that gang culture, right, where it's ride
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
die, like we're
Right.
in this,
Right.
but
Mm-hmm.
you're not just in it for yourselves, right? Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
in it to help each other. And hey, and we always say this, right? Johnny will laugh at me because I'm so cliche and I say it, but hey, when you give, you get, right? And
Mhm.
most of the time when you give, you get back tenfold, right?
Serve to
Um,
deserve.
maybe not
Wow.
overnight, right? Maybe not
Mm-hmm.
overnight, but I promise you it does come back. And so
Mm-hmm.
where, when it comes to kind of, and I do want to hear a little bit, like when you came and did House of Dreams and kind of just learning from the all that type of
Mm-hmm.
stuff, I want to get into a little bit of that as well. But
Yeah.
where do you think it comes from with how you really, the foundation of Wealth Alliance Group, of like when you look at your core pillars, right? Like where did that come from? Did that come from Chick-fil-A? Did that come from maybe, hey, this is just how I was raised, or what? Where did that
Mm-hmm.
kind of really, because it's a very strong leadership character, like a trait, right? A very strong
Yeah.
trait, to come in
Mm-hmm.
and be like, I ain't ever done this. I don't even meet, it's like I call Medicare, Medicaid type. What is that? Whoa, what? Zero premium plans.
Yeah.
How did you come in and lay that foundation right out the gate with your team to where, again, they're ride or die, and they still are, right?
Absolutely. Okay. So first thing I look for in anybody is what everybody saw in me. As a financial
Mhm.
specialist, from the business development to Chick-fil-A, can you duplicate what you do? Everybody, like, I mean, can you duplicate anything that you do? Can it be duplicated? And I mean, from being a financial specialist to Chick-fil-A, can you show people how to knock out 100 people during lunch in the drive-through? Can you show your staff how to duplicate everything? I mean, I'll tell you, well, that 7-year ride with Chick-fil-A, when I tell you everything is duplicatable, down to the service. Now that's a game changer, because that is hard to change. Like when you involve human beings and their emotions, and one thing I'll never forget was, because I used to be a whiner. And this is no whining Wednesday for us as well. But if you whine, you got to put some money in the jar. But man, look, dude, I used to be the whiner. Dude, I'm telling you, dude, I was just like, man, all the people I hire have all these personal issues. Guess what my upline said, or boss at the time? Everybody you hire has personal issues.
Right.
Yeah. So are you the leader that's prepared for that or not? Like, so yeah, if you're gonna be in your role and you're gonna duplicate, you've got to duplicate beyond personal issues. Everybody has them. People have kids. You think kids are going to behave just because you want to go to work, or you think kids aren't going to get sick? What? Like, dude, my son gets sick like every other day, feels like, man. But dude, that's life, man. But no, everything has to be duplicatable. Wealth has to be duplicatable. Renewals have to be duplicatable. Like our service has to be duplicatable. Your clients will leave you if they don't hear from you often enough. If you're not systematic, man. So that is my big win. That's my big lesson in life, was realizing, like, okay, why did these guys invest in me? What were they paying me a salary for? You know, I'm somewhat against salaries at this point now because I'm an entrepreneur, but I have to hire people, so I have to find their potential. Okay, what can you duplicate throughout the year on a weekly basis that can benefit Wealth Alliance Group as I hire people? I'm looking for the same things, man. You know, is Joe, what he does is he consistent? You guys have done this Wednesday thing for a whole year consistently.
Right.
You've duplicated your process. When you duplicate it, it only gets better. You're talking about getting better and giving, dude. But you have to give effort first. You have to give focus first. You have to give attention, and it's a whole bunch of giving before it gets better, man. So yeah, man, that is our theme for the year. Actually, we just did our kickoff last week. Are we getting better, or are we getting by? And to get better, we have to give better. And it's more focus. It's giving better focus. It's giving better effort in the things that we're doing. And so when it comes to creating wealth, you know, my win for the day, or I know y'all said weekly win, but my win this morning was an agent being transparent about where they were, because they weren't paying attention to their back office. They're trying to upload their front office, get all these sales, but they're falling. They got clients falling off because they didn't check on food carts and stuff like that. So yes, that's what happens in business when you don't follow and do the things on the checklist that come along with your upline or the person that you trusted to give you wisdom for business, man. Right. So yeah, the people on this call, man, we're talking about millions in production in PNC. Millions of production in Medicare with Tony, man. Tony's like, dude, this show, these are game changers on this show, man. So this is all about winning. This is all about wealth. I know my personal, because that's my name for my agency, Wealth Alliance Group, agents coming together to gain wealth. So yeah, we look for high renewals. We look for anything that can be duplicated, man. So yeah, that's. So let
me ask you this. So, coming from maybe somebody who, and honestly, I can kind of attest to this, is I don't know how when you were being raised, if you come from wealth, right? Because like for us, we did not come from wealth. We came from, hey, clean the cupboards, and everybody's like, what's that mean? It's like, hey, mom went to the store, right? And then she did not go back to the store until those cupboards were empty, right? Shout out Aldi. Aldi now is all hip and everybody goes now. It's like back then it was like that's where you went when you didn't have money, because you could get a lot of good groceries, right? A little off brand, like Mountain Thunder, not Mountain Dew. Yes. But so how do you take somebody that does not come from wealth and maybe is either dealing with that now or is coming from that, so has kind of those roadblocks mentally? You say, hey, we bring people together to duplicate this wealth, right? We're bringing them in. What are some things that you have seen in your experience, or really just in these past few years as you've grown, as you've brought people in? Have you had something where it is, hey, I've got to go in and I've got to somehow remove these roadblocks? How can you duplicate wealth with these people who don't come from wealth? Does that make sense? Absolutely.
Dave Ramsey spoke at one of our conferences when we were at Chik-fil-A. He's works hand in hand with them. Baby steps, man. Baby steps. I mean, if you can't follow the baby steps, there's no use in talking about everything else, man. So everybody gets put to a test. I was talking about life testing me and all that. Yeah, and talking about, I'm a country boy, man, dude. When we got our first bit of snow in South Carolina back in I think it was 1988, dude. 1988. We slid down the hill on bread crates, man. I don't know if y'all know what bread crates are, dude, but that's how we slid. We would slide down the hill. That's how we had fun. We were country, man. We got in fights and we would pick up clay dirt and throw it at each other, dude, and hit you in the face. I'm a country boy, so that's how, we didn't have all the items, but we felt rich because of where we were, man, and it's still something to that, because even though we create wealth and we do all this, what we're doing, man, there is still something to that, man. So that's why I love you guys, because you're family people. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it comes back down to our core thing. So, but no, it is about, man, it really is about finding people that can be, if you're willing to take baby steps, you have to be willing, man. And you can't tell me, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. Well, proof of passion is in repetition. It's always in repetition, bro. No matter, you say you love your wife, Joe. Tony, you love your wife. What are you doing on a weekly basis?
Right.
Yeah. Hey, man, you say it. Hey, but hey, yeah, they will keep you in check too. But they will remind you. That's the beauty of that.
No problem there.
That's So, and sometimes thank God to remind us, because we do get carried away.
Hey, when I post pictures of my daily goals, I make sure my wife can see the top one. I will actively better my relationship with my wife every day. Make sure that one's very clear.
Amen, bro. Yes,
man. That's awesome.
Yes, but man, even with that, man, even being a leader, I find myself having to gut check myself. Man, I didn't do that today. I do intermittent fasting. I didn't do certain things with this, or what it could be something so simple, man. I didn't do prayer with my son because of the business or whatever. That's a common thing during AEP. So, but thank God I have a wife that can help explain that too. But man, you miss those consistent things when you are in a seasonal business as well. Right. So, and some stuff just comes with the territory. Shout out to all our military, man. I grew up in a military family, lots of Marines, lots of Army, man. And when they go away, their wives hold it down for them. So, so I get that, man. So yeah, man.
So what did we take from Chick-fil-A? Because I think obviously, so you talked about how, hey, you got to understand. I love that. You got to understand the business before you try and teach these people how to run the business, right?
Yes.
Now you said that, but then you didn't actually. You were with them for 7 years. So by the end of your 7 years, I mean, you're working with, the big boys, right? And so you've obviously had some conversations that a lot of us probably haven't ever had, right? And you, like you said, whether it's $1 million, 10 million, whatever it was, you were coming in and really educating them on the process, because you started here. Hey, I know what I'm talking about. But when you take that experience with Chick-fil-A, what are some things that you can share with the members? Maybe 2 to 3 things that were yo, these things right here, without that in my insurance agency, man, how far behind would I be? What are a couple of those things? Because you did say, hey, Chick-fil-A, there's so much I took from that and I'm using within Wealth Alliance Group. What are 2 of those, 2 to 3 things?
Absolutely. So first find your multiplying factors, man. What can yield you the biggest results if you have more of it? And then from there, if there is something that can yield you a bigger result, now you have to find the multiplying factors that relate to it. At Chick-fil-A, their bread and butter is the drive-through. I mean, as good as their customer service is inside, their bread and butter is that drive-through. So how can instead of 100 during lunch, how can I turn that to 10 and be 10% greater this year and make it 110? Well, 110 times 6 business days, that all of a sudden gives you 60 more during just that 1 hour and change, if you can improve that process. So now that's what you invest in, because now that yields you a greater result by you investing in that process, finding bottlenecks. And if you're not open to work and if you think that you don't have any bottlenecks, you ain't looking close enough. Bro, yes. we live in a world where we have lead vendors, we have other things, and all of a sudden they'll tell you, hey, our returns on this are dropping, or we'll get another notification. The postage price is costing this. All of these are multiplying factors, whether you want to realize that or not. Yeah, that sounds kind of geeky, but when you start putting thousands and thousands of dollars into place, all of those little things start mattering. Your return matters, and what the agents do with that matters. It becomes this times this times this times this yields this type of result.
Right.
And but you got to find that main factor of what you need to multiply times, whether it be for Joe, this many commercial trucks, this many homes need to be insured, this many personal autos need to be done. I need this many leads to yield this because this person's closing ratio is this. So I'm investing in this type of capital. But over here, I got this stud. They close 9 out of 10 for some reason. So now
where's that person? Where's that person?
Yeah, right. Yes. But it's looking at all your factors and finding the bottleneck in that process. And here's the sad reality. As much as we want everything to be cookie cutter in business, it's not. Because as long as there are human beings, we've got to deal with their multiplication, how they multiply whatever you have in place.
Right.
It doesn't matter if Miss Susie wasn't, if she's 55 years old and doing something, this is a part-time, she likes to do this, and she's scooping fries, but she can only scoop it because she's at an older age or whatever. You can't make that any faster unless you give her a different process or something, but you can't increase her speed because of other limitations.
Well, you can fire her and hire somebody faster, can't you?
Yeah, you can do that. But if she is in the equation, if you're going to keep her in the equation, you got to work on the other things around her. Okay. Can somebody else load the fries for her while she's doing the scooping or whatever? And will that speed up the ultimate process?
I like that.
Ultimately, as business owners, we make those decisions and we have to live with those. Otherwise, because when we get the results, it is still based on the decisions that we've made. We make choices every day. We make choices to keep people. We make choices to still be involved. We make choices to write certain carriers. Oh, I'm going to still write this carrier because they've got a great trip. Is that the best thing for the client? Well, we're agents. We're influenced by what, but we have to live with those decisions. Right. If they get replaced with somebody that's $5 cheaper, but I only write with this, and it's not about the product. It's all about value. I understand, but we still have to live with the choices, no matter what. Good. Yep. We still have to live with them. And it's always we have to look at every single component and we have to live with those components, man. And the sooner we can face those realities, did I take my wife out 3 times this month, 2 times, or did I at least do the date night that I was supposed to do? And then if I get hell next month, dude, I gotta live with that junk, man. Because I'm the component I'm the multiplying factor that yields the results of my house of being a father, being the husband. But if I don't do the things that multiply in that make me a great father, guess what? Now I'm whatever she calls me. She calls me a lot of things, but hopefully she's calling me some good things today. I got some nice text messages today.
Hey, there you go.
But yeah, man. So yeah, I know that may be a little far-fetched, man. But
no. I think
factors, man. The components, man. Yeah.
But the components and how you view it, I hope y'all are hearing this and picking up on it, because this is what I love about you, because even before you were getting into insurance, you already had this mentality of investment versus expense, right? It's not, I have to spend all this over here and I have to do this and I have to do this in order to potentially, no, it's, hey, I'm going to invest, because now how can you change that mindset, right? A lot of people do, they view investment really as an expense, right? But how can you change that? As well, back into your numbers. Because then it's when you know the numbers and hey, if I put in this much, then it's going to yield this much. It won't feel like an expense. It'll feel like an investment because it's going to bring that much back to you, right? And I love that you said that, because it's super important when in business, y'all, you got to, and that's, again, Johnny's going to laugh at me. Johnny, if you're watching this, laugh at me in the comments, is, hey, you got to spend money to make money, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And really, I mean, we should almost even change that as, hey, you got to invest some money to make some money, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And so I love that you have that mindset, but again, without knowing your numbers, without geeking out on those Excel sheets and those stats, right? You would never know the missing components. And maybe that investment, if you had made one little tweak, right, or one little whatever that might be, that could have been an investment, but then it feels like an expense because you just didn't know.
Mhm.
You hit a bottleneck, but you said you don't have any bottlenecks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
you said that.
And you can work on some bad components, man. My dad, I'll tell you, old country. My dad's country now. I'm country, man. Dude. My dad used to install alarm systems, and even then, I was a little smart aleck. Like, dude, you need to do this and have this many accounts. That way, you'll have money coming in from people paying their stuff. He's like, who do you think you're, a little smart ass? Like, who do you think you are? Like, but we were getting out of a truck and going to do an installment, right? And I'm 12 years old, and I go pull out the ladder because I'm a big guy. I was skinny, but I was still tall and kind of big. And I go pull out the ladder. I'm pulling all these tools and just going to work, man. He's like, "You damn fool! What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm going to work, man. We got to get this over and get this money." I mean, in my mind, we're rich. I'm about to get paid $10. That's all I was getting paid for today. But he's like, "That's the wrong house." He said, I was like, "Man, I'm ready to put in this work, all this." He's like, "Let me tell you something about life, bro. Like, you can climb a ladder of success, but if it's not up against the right house, you're not gonna yield. You're not gonna get paid.
Right.
So you need to make choices and pay attention to the ladders that you set up." So I was like, "Who does this guy think he is, man?" Now it makes sense. It makes so much sense in business, dude. He has a lot of those little stupid country sayings, man. But they are so profound now, man. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It sounded to me like Chick-fil-A taught you how to really look at a business from a process-oriented mindset,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And that's how you're able to
Yeah.
kind of identify
Yeah.
those bottlenecks, those components.
Thank you for that, Tony. Yes, I was all products in the beginning. In securities, man, you pick the best mutual fund. You pick what's winning, especially when I was in banking, because, during that, from 2000 up to that time, you could throw something in the market. It was going to grow, man. So, I mean, those are the good old days, man. Now you definitely have to pay attention. But yes,
Mhm.
Chick-fil-A broke down every single component. Delivery trucks, them delivering at a certain time so you could have fresh food, and by the time it thaws, it's super fresh, versus you having it super early in the week and it's sitting, and do so many little processes, not thinking about the customer experience, but also the employee experience, to speed and everything else. Everything was a component, man. So yes, thank you for pointing that out, Tony. You're exactly right. I didn't look at it that way, but absolutely. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how long did they make you fried chicken back there?
Man,
as the CFO, or you were working in the finance department, right?
Not too long, man. I'd say maybe a 4 to 6 month process.
Okay.
Yeah, not too
Cool.
long. I made the sandwiches too big, and breading. I'll tell you, man, it was just like this. You turn around and you've got these, and then you can't do anything else but bread, and you put your hands in, and you have to press the fillets, and I pressed them too hard with my hands, and they'd be spread out like that, and but they'd be coated with the breading, man. So they came out looking too big, and then all of a sudden, when I would leave, the clients and all of that would come during certain lunch hours, or
Where's my sandwich?
yeah, why is my sandwich so small, man? Like, who's in the kitchen? And they're like, "Dude, we can't have you doing that too long, man." When I'm into something, I'm into it regardless. Like, whatever,
Right.
like, let's go. I'm gonna get excited. Boom, boom, let's go. What we got? Bring it on. I need some more chicken. Bring it. So I'm gonna have fun, man. So yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. So
with that, and again, I think another gold nugget here, y'all, is, and we can kind of apply it to the baby steps, like what we were talking about, is so looking at the big picture. Obviously, you did not accept that position with Chick-fil-A to make chicken sandwiches, right? It was
right.
obviously there's an end goal. Hey, look, I'm accepting this position and I'm going to get to this point. That's why I'm accepting the position, right? But a lot of people
Mhm.
would look at that, and again, you said ego check, right? What's like,
Mhm.
what in the kitchen? Like nah, no, I'm too good for that, right? And it goes back to the baby steps. Are you willing to humble yourself to, again, learn something new, right? Get off of
Mhm.
your high horse, and really ultimately it puts you in the trenches. It builds that much more culture, that much more kind of that
Mhm.
team
Mhm.
vibe, right? But I think a
Yeah.
lot of agents, and we've all seen it, right? And even in our short stint that we've been in, relatively, is that there are so many people that would not be willing to take that step back. But
Wow.
that step back, how far did oh gosh, who was just talking about taking the 2 steps back in order to go 10 forward, right? and
Mm.
and actually, was that you, Tony? I can't remember what I was listening to that said that. And maybe it was Andy Elliott. But are you willing to take the 2 steps back, to humble yourself, to get your hands dirty in the kitchen with your people, right? So that
Yes.
you can propel yourself that much further. And I think,
Mhm.
again, I wanted to point that out because I think there's a lot of lesson in that. Is, are you willing, again, to humble yourself? Are you willing to check your ego and say, hey, you know what? I'm not too good for anything. And I think
Mhm.
that's why I've been starting to get back on the phones and dial, right? It's like, do I need to get on the phones and dial? No, right?
No.
But I
Yeah.
think a
Yeah.
lot of that, it's the humility, it's the ego check that, dude, you're not too good to not either, right? So get on the
Mhm.
phones
Mhm.
and pick up the
Yeah.
phones, right? I love that you said that because I think that's so important. And I hope everybody listening, and Melissa says absolutely, because it's true. Are we
Mm.
willing to humble ourselves? Are we willing to check our ego and kind of step off that pedestal? But ultimately, again, if you know your numbers, then
Yeah.
it would make more sense for you to do the 2 steps back, because now it's like you're running, all these massive Chick-fil-A's all across the country. You got to meet all these crazy,
Absolutely.
and I know some of the people that you got to meet. I mean, you're talking some crazy high net worth individuals, but are you willing to start with the chicken sandwich, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
good. So good.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir. Yes,
Learning
sir.
learning with them to be process oriented, right? Because they have everything broken down to an exact science, an exact process, so they know how to tweak those metrics, those components, like you were talking about, apply those multiplying factors to get the higher yield results. Did that immediately come to light when you moved over to insurance? Or did it take a little bit to kind of start to bring, oh no, I learned this at Chick-fil-A. If we do that here, this will help me here. Did that help you understand the duplicatable
It
aspects of
it
insurance?
it it definitely did, because one thing that was talking about an humbling experience, when you're used to being the top dog, when you're used to being a boss, when you're used to being the head honcho, whatever you want to call yourself, and you learn something enough for you. Yeah, my pen is lethal in the field when it comes to when it was final expense, whatever. I could write some business, bro. I love sales, man. And even to this day, I still compete against my team if they talk enough trash. And I, like y'all said, like, you don't have to do it, but
Right.
you get under my skin a little bit, and next thing you know, I'm doing something crazy. But yes, the ultimate measurements of success, and taking those processes, getting into this, because in the insurance world and growing people, um, what if you're growing as your people are growing or whatsoever? If you're not likable, if you're not relatable, you can't grow anybody, man. So there are all those different components that I learned, like, because and I'll tell you, if they don't do them anymore because of COVID, but Chick-fil-A used to have these backstage tours where the owner operator would invite you to walk back there while they were busy, and you'll see nothing but culture, man. And I
Hmm.
mean, talking about systematic, like, what if you're doing that breading and nobody actually brings you chicken?
Hmm.
You're just a breader standing there. If we can't work together, if you can't have a good team and people can't have your back, and it doesn't matter if you're the head honcho, all of us are going down if we can't work together, if we can't be treated like human beings. I used to have folks I'd hire and then realize that every time they came in every morning, they didn't say good morning. Like, well, I'm a northerner, dude. Dude,
I don't
well,
care.
welcome to the South. Well,
Right.
welcome to the South. If you don't say good morning and speak to people and treat people like human beings, nothing's going to happen. You're going to see
Mm.
all these measuring components that we talked about in your interview process. All of that's going down, and it's going to be for morale. The intangibles in business are still relevant, man. So if we don't
Yep.
treat people like human beings, bro, it's going to show. That
Right.
goes for the people that we work with, and it shows with our clientele. Because there's a lot
Absolutely.
of people lethal with selling, but let me tell you how a client can close you. They change the plan after you leave. It doesn't matter how forceful you are. It doesn't matter. They guess what? Guess who got closed? And when you try to call them back, you try to go see them again. They're not
Right.
seeing you. Guess who won? And
Right.
you're stuck with the chargeback.
Yep.
So yeah, we're still the intangibles of people and personnel and all of those things still matter if we're going to be leaders, and we're going to be leaders in business, man. So everybody matters. Everybody
Absolutely.
matters. That was one of the. Chick-fil-A used to say everyone has a story, and why we need to always make their day, because the guy that's eating the bread, the biscuit in the morning and drinking coffee, we didn't know that at home his wife is dealing with cancer, or everybody has a story, and why not give a smile to every person that we meet, regardless of knowing the story or not, because they're
Right.
not going to tell you the story. And it's the same way with the people that we work with. It's the same way with every single agent that works with us or partners with us. It's the same way that even with you guys, man, sometimes we'll dig in and y'all will tell me stuff about your personal life. And I'm like, wow, man, I'm gonna be praying for you, man. Like, yeah, man. So, anything you need, but dude, I still realize every day that we're human beings, man. And
Mm.
that's the humbling thing about life. We want to maximize life, but also we got to remember the moments, and we got to remember the other things that come along with us. And there's still components, man.
Right.
That human component is still a
Yes.
component. It's still a
Right.
component, dude.
That's
Yeah.
probably the most difficult component to really, I guess you could say the word, to understand, right? Because I think that
Mm.
component is, there's always that decimal is always changing, right? Or there's always some type of variable where that number is going to go up, down, it's going to go up or it's going to go down one or two, right?
Yeah.
And as leaders, knowing that, and knowing that, hey, when that number, when there is a little subtraction, what are you doing? And I love that you said this. Oh, this is perfect, because everybody is a different component, right? We're all unique. We're all unique components. We're all unique stats, whatever you want to call it, right?
Hmm.
And how you address that negative or that addition differs and varies by the component and the person, obviously, that you're speaking with, right? Like when I've got
Absolutely.
somebody in my office that's this, well, okay, they respond differently to this, right? And hey, I need to, maybe I do a little square root on this thing, right? Versus trying to do a shit ton of addition, whatever it might be, right? You get what I'm saying? Is I
Hmm.
think that's
Hmm.
super important, sitting in that seat, is knowing that everybody does have their story, but everybody's story is different, which therefore makes them a different component, right? And so
Absolutely.
how can we address that? How can you even see it coming? It's like, ooh,
Yes.
I see it, man. It's like there's about to be a negative.
Right.
you know,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
It's good.
And let's be honest. Every day as a business leader, we are always. At least this is what I learned from Chick-fil-A. I will say this: we're always looking to increase capacity. There are a few factors that we can't change. The four walls that the building is in. Like,
Right.
we, as much as we want to make the building bigger, we don't have enough space. There's not enough. There's a drive-through and everything else that's wrapped around this thing. That's not going to change.
Hmm.
So some things aren't going to change. So you got to work on the things that you can change to increase capacity. And can
It's
you
good.
can you do it by 5%, 10%? But whatever you do, it's got to be repetitive. It's got to be duplicatable. And sometimes I will say this. I mean, sometimes it can be as something as simple as, because I have a lot of field agents. We're really more field with what we do. A rainy day. Everybody works on rainy days here. Why? Because people stay home. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's a component, because okay, next time it rains, like, I mean, our numbers go up on rainy days, man.
Come on.
And that's
Yep.
something that we can measure every single time that happens. Now, can we go to the bank on that? No. Is it gonna rain every day? No. Like, that's not how you do business, but you do pay attention to those things, man.
It's good.
There are certain things, man, dude. Let me tell you, every hey, I'm a religious guy, I'm a spiritual guy, but let me tell you about some pagan holidays and all that. If I don't do something for Valentine's, bro, let me tell you, bro, belief systems, whatever you want to call. Yeah, I better get something right up in that piece, man. Like I don't have to spend an arm and a leg. I don't have to do all that. That's not what matters. But I better recognize. Man. So all of these things matter, man. I know I keep relating to my own personal stuff, but that is I always try to find something.
It makes you relatable. It's literally what we're sitting here talking about, right? Is that I think so many people, they don't want to share. They don't want to be relatable because maybe it makes them vulnerable, right? Or maybe it does hurt the ego a little bit to kind of say, hey, you know what? I did forget that, right? And and that's what, I mean, ultimately it comes down to, hey, we just ain't perfect, right? So I love that you said that, man. Tony, which I see you taking notes. Yeah, what you got to kind of wrap us up?
Well, he hit duplication again a second ago, right? And that's been a common theme that we've chatted about: duplication, learning to look at your process so you can identify the areas where you can yield better results. And again, back to duplication. I'm curious when you're looking at duplicating yourself, or maybe if you're looking to duplicate some of your sales leaders, right? You got two really phenomenal salespeople in your organization. They're both top sellers. They're both killing it. One of them's duplicatable, and the other one, for some reason, is not. What's the difference there? What makes a sales, even if they're phenomenal at what they do, what makes them unduplicatable? Or maybe better put, what makes someone more duplicable? And it's not just relatability. Like there's something else in there. I'm curious, as someone with the size of business that you have and the people that you have grown into leaders in your organization, what do you identify as a trait? Like, that's a guy I can duplicate in my business.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
This dude over here, he's going to sell a lot of shit, but he ain't duplicatable.
Absolutely. Yes. Talking about my past experience, I learned that the hard way, man. In Wachovia Securities, I'll say it to this day, when even my last boss that I was with Wachovia Securities told me, Kevin, you're lucky. You were just lucky. You don't have processes for what you were doing. Everybody likes you in the vicinity that you're in, but this is why certain people you can't duplicate. You only do well when you find people that everyone loves already, or they have some connections in the community, but you can't give everybody processes. I was that guy that wasn't duplicatable. I thought I was.
Right.
I thought I was. Yeah. So yeah, don't get me wrong. I'll take some lucky agents any given day. I'll take luck over skill in many cases from a business vantage point. But I can't go to the bank with that year over year off of being lucky. If I don't identify those things, I mean, because don't get me wrong, every time a Chik-fil-A will be planted in a community, it always had blowout sales in the beginning.
Right.
But now, do they have consistent service? Do they have, are they fast? Are they, all those things, it's what they started with, or they continue to do those things. So yeah, I look for repetition. I look for behaviors, and I don't judge just by the fruit. I have learned that the hard way in business. I still learn from that, probably on a yearly basis, because it's hard to ignore results in business. But the results do not always tell the story. Right. They do not tell the whole story all the time, man. And as leaders, it's hard to ignore because their results, man,
it's a dollar sign, right?
It's a dollar sign. Yeah. But how do we identify it, man? I look for behaviors, and it does come with spending some time. It doesn't come with lip service. Some of these folks, if you were to spend a couple of days with them, you realize they're getting up at 4. So I got somebody that gets up at 4:44 every single day. They like the 4s, and and the advantages that they have by having extra hours in a day or whatsoever. And a lot of these folks are females. They need to be home by a certain time to be with kids or single or whatever, but they have their processes. Right. And when they talk about their processes, it comes in their vocabulary about what they're doing. It doesn't say, hey, I closed this many people this week. Those are the people that you're scared of. Those are the people that you subconsciously you're thinking, okay, they may be lucky. They have some fortunate things that are working their way. Yes. Do you support them in that? Of course. You're always trying to increase capacity in what they're doing. If they're likable is a component, so if they have some, we're a little street around here. If they have some plugs, or they have some,
we're a little street around here.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So if they have that, those things are cool. That you can ride that wave for a little while, but are you going to be humble enough for when that wave comes down?
Right.
You know, that's going to be the test. And as leaders, are we supposed to identify and point that out to them, or are we supposed to let them ride? So I'm guilty of both. I'm guilty
Right.
of letting them ride until it's a teachable moment. But sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I mess it up by trying to point everything out, and I mess up the wave. Like, dude, why'd you jack that up? Like, they were fine with what they were doing, you know, and they've got kids, they've got people that, you know, their spouses and all that at home. You're messing that up. So I judge myself. I judge myself as a leader in those processes, because sometimes I fumble and I mess up some good things for folks as well. But but also I'm looking for folks around me that can be transparent, and I'll admit to my mistakes.
Right.
I'll admit to them, but also I'm waiting on them to admit, hey, all right, even though this wave was good, are you ready to have some teachable moments so we can duplicate what can be scaled versus just having that, you know? So, because there's some whales in this industry, bro. I mean, I got some folks that will, they'll quit on me in either Medicare or life insurance because they just did a $5 million, $10 million annuity or something, and I don't see them for a while, and they love me. They'll come by the office, hey, let me take you to lunch, all that, but they ain't going to work. They're not going to work, man. I'm telling you that now. And it's hard to not respect that, man.
Sure.
Right.
You know, yeah. I mean, we ultimately are helping people to find that freedom in the insurance game. You know, so it's hard to not respect that. But it's hard to not also say, as a friend or a partner in business, hey man, don't let all that run out and you don't have some processes in place to build yourself back up. So that's the gray area in this thing, man. It's not all fine and pretty. It's working and balancing our relationships at the same time.
Agreed 100%. When it comes to training someone like that, how do you kind of look at, like, well, is this the moment where I let them go get their nose bloodied and come back for the teachable moment? Or is this the moment that I need to step in and save them before they get their teeth kicked in? Like, how do you kind of look at those? Is it just the gravity of maybe what they're up against?
It's that, and it's also their communication. If they're putting it out there, hey Tony, my spouse and my kids are really riding me. If I don't get this by next year and renewals or something, I can't get this house. I've been living in the hood all this time a certain way. Can you really ride me, get past my emotions and my feelings? I really need somebody to hold me accountable. If they say that, guess what? I'm giving them the gas.
Right.
I'm giving them everything, and I'm going to let them get mad with me. I'm going to bloody their nose. It's going to hurt. I'm going to be all up in their junk if they allow me to. But if they're defiant, you know, I'm going to address and say, I just want to, for the record, because I do believe in, I did learn this with Chik-fil-A and Wachovia Securities. There's these things called working agreements. This is how we agree to work together, you know, and this is how we grow together. And if we go with this, and accountability is in that portion, but this is how we hold each other accountable. Me as being a leader and you as being someone that agrees to partner and work with me in this capacity. If you're willing to grow and increase your capacity on a yearly basis, we agree on this.
Right.
You know, whether that be monthly, weekly, quarterly, whatever we agree to. So now when I bring it up, for the record, you did not do these things.
You see this right here? This is what we agreed to.
Right. For the record, this is what you said you were going to do.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, and do those moments suck? Yes. Do I get cussed out sometimes? Absolutely. Yes. But there's not many people that haven't come back and hugged me or cried or anything else, because guess what? I hug their babies. I hug their children. I hug their spouses. I you know, like, no, you asked me to convince your wife that this was a good journey for you. And then when I told you your ass was lazy, you needed to get up off your tail and go to work, because your wife don't realize she's going to work right now, but she don't know that you're not working right now.
Oof. Yeah.
Ouch. But yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not going to see her the next time at the little basketball game or whatever. And y'all are up there struggling, and she's thinking, what is Kevin doing over there? Is he using and abusing? No. No, we had this many leads come in. It is all the components are there. So don't let me be the one to have to tell her. I would never do that. But I will say that though.
You say it. Get up off your ass.
Well, I want to jump back to Chick-fil-A real quick before we wrap this up. We are running long. We got to respect everybody's time, but I'm curious.
Absolutely.
What the hell are they putting in those sandwiches? The drive-through is a mile long. It's backed up on the feeder road over here. I have to drive around them. They're in my way. I've got shit to do. Why are there so many people in that drive-through line? What are they putting in that sandwich?
And they figured out how to duplicate vehicles, man.
Yeah, man. That one I can't tell, man. You know all that. We can never do that, man.
Yeah. He ain't playing, y'all. That is the secret. There is some secret sauce in this group after Kevin hopped on, because I cannot share that.
Right on.
Literally secret sauce.
Love it. Well, man, thank you. This has been a huge pleasure. It's great to get to hang out with you some more. Love the energy, love the fire. And you're definitely one of those guys out there that new leaders in the business needs to learn to connect with and emulate. So you got a great heart and a great passion, and I love being around you. So thank you again for coming out.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks,
and I wanted to end on this real quick too, because Aaron put something out here, and I just wanted to read the quote because I thought it tied in perfectly what she said. It goes hand in hand. Hey, syndicate members, when faced with the choice of doing what is right and what is easy, always choose what is right, even if it's not freaking easy, right?
Boom.
And I love that you said that, Aaron. And again, Kevin, thank you so much for your time, man. I know you guys are grinding. I know you had your team meeting and then you popped over to this, and I know you're probably about to hop on some more calls. And shoot, maybe, hey, y'all, I don't know if any of your team members are on here, but if he picks up that pin, y'all better watch out, because Kevin coming to write some apps, man. But no, really appreciate you and everything that you stand for, dude. And love being able to participate in some business with you as well. So really appreciate your time.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Man, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we are here every Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Don't stop. Leave the tank empty. Put it all out there.
Come on. It's the peak of the week.
See y'all next week.
Let's get after it, y'all. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.